Journeying west from the Say Cathedral, one comes upon the old palace of the Archbishop, which serves as a conduit from the cathedral to the Church of St. Francis of Assisi. This graceful building displays a charming mix of architectural styles and intricately carved artwork. The adjoining convent has long since been converted into the archaeological museum and is worth a visit.
Following the conquest of Goa by the Portuguese in the year 1510, various missionary orders arrived in Goa to spread Christianity. One of the first orders that arrived in Goa in 1521 were the Franciscan order. Franciscan order was a missionary order which was founded by Saint Francis of Assisi. Saint Francis of Assisi is different from Saint Francis Xavier. Saint Francis Xavier was a Jesuit missionary, whereas Saint Francis of Assisi founded the Franciscan orders. The church that you see at the back is the Church of Saint Francis of Assisi, which was constructed in 1521 and rebuilt in 1661. The church is beautiful and the facade has the Manueline architecture.
The original shrine, constructed by the Franciscan monks in 1521 and subsequently enlarged, was showing signs of decay. So a new church was constructed and dedicated to the Holy Spirit. Built in 1665, it retained the portal of the old structure, which was in the Portuguese Manueline style. It is a unique architectural specimen of this style in the country. The facade of the church is built in the Tuscan style of architecture, with only the portal being Manueline, since it is a relic from the older structure.
When King Manuel I was ruling over Portugal, a distinct style of architecture that came to Goa was the Manueline architecture. If you look at the facade of the church, at the entrance you will find the inverted rope design, which is of Manueline architecture, and within the church, inside the church, you will find beautiful frescoes, the altar dedicated to Saint Francis of Assisi.
In 1517, 8 Franciscan monks landed in Goa. They immediately set to work and built themselves a small chapel. This chapel was completed in 1521 and dedicated to the Holy Ghost. This building was later expanded and consecrated as a church in 1602. However, it was not in good repair, and it was later torn down and reconstructed in 1665. The church is built of laterite blocks covered with lime plaster. The original Manueline entranceway is flanked by 2 octagonal towers. The facade of the church is 3-tiered and has a small niche which houses the statue of Our Lady of Miracles, which was brought from Jaffna in Sri Lanka. In contrast to the simple outer facade, the interiors of the church are unabashedly and lavishly decorated in the Baroque style using Corinthian influences. The highlight is the main altar, which has fine examples of this kind of work. The altar is dedicated to Saint Francis of Assisi and has above it a huge statue of the saint and another of Jesus. These statues display excellent features and attention to detail. Flanking the altar are superb paintings on wood depicting scenes from the life of Saint Francis of Assisi and the history of the Seraphic Order.
The various missionary orders that arrived from Portugal into Goa, their main mission was to spread the word of Christ and to convert the locals into Roman Catholicism. The Franciscans were given the charge of Bardes, the Jesuits were given the charge of Salcede, and Tiswadi was given to Dominicans and the Jesuits for conversion.
Although this church is not as large as the illustrious Say Cathedral, it is beautiful nonetheless. It is a single nave church with 3 small chapels on either side of the nave. There are 2 altars besides the main one, which is dedicated to Saint Francis of Assisi. Behind the altar are rooms which form the sacristy, and there is a belfry to the north of the altar. As you enter, on the left is an intricately carved wooden pulpit decorated with floral patterns. The interior of the church itself is lavishly decorated with paintings depicting scenes from the Bible. The internal buttress walls have been carved with floral frescoes in the Indo-Portuguese Baroque style. Beneath the statues of Saint Francis of Assisi and Jesus is inscribed the vows of the saint: poverty, humility, and obedience. The convent was built by the Franciscan friars around 1527 and later expanded. Today, it houses the museum established by the Archaeological Survey of India in 1964. Valuable sculptures and icons of pre-Portuguese era are displayed here. No tour of Old Goa could be complete without a visit to this twofold attraction.